you feeling stuck making minimum payments on your credit card debt? SaveWithConrad.com can help, and you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Oh, and did I mention no house payments for 2 months? Get rid of your credit card debt and lower your monthly payments right now at SaveWithConrad.com.
Hey, race fans, Hall of Famer Darrell Waltrip here. You know it's time to drop the green flag on another edition of Leaning Right and Turning Left with Sadler and the Senator, powered by Pace-O-Matic. So, hey, pull those belts tight one more time. Here's my buddy Hermie Sadler and Senator Bill Stanley. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's see what they have to say, boys and girls.
I'm Virginia State Senator Bill Stanley, and I'm leaning right.
I'm former NASCAR driver and Fox Sports analyst, Hermie Sadler, and I am turning left.
And I'm Shop Boss, South Hill Town Councilman, just trying to stay out of jail.
Wait a minute. You jumped the opening. You jumped the intro, Shep. No, you are, hold on, because this is going to be about what this part of the podcast is going to be, the subject matter. This is a call we received last night about 10:30 on all of our phones. We thought we'd record it and play it before we intro you, Councilman Moss.
You have an incoming call from
Shop Boss,
an inmate at the Mecklenburg County Correctional Facility. To accept this call, please press 1.
That was actually rejecting the call. That was pressing 2.
Wow.
I wouldn't tell you, it was too late at night.
Wow.
Introduce yourself, prisoner J25.
Why, well, as I said, I'm Shep Moss. I'm sitting town council member of Town of South Hill. And
for now,
what a night.
We're going to get into it. Welcome, everybody, to our podcast. This week's show, we've got a lot of content, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of exciting things going on, a lot of scary things are going on in politics, in the world of politics. We're going to talk about that. But, Hermie Sadler, we've got some great interviews coming up in this week's podcast.
We do. We got a special show coming up. We will have back on the show Chris Williams, promoter of the Smart Modified Tour. We're going to be talking to him about what a week, a great week, not only because the Sadler Stanley car got a big win at North Wilkesboro Speedway, but that was a win for stock car racing in general.
Yes.
Auto racing, North Wilkesboro, small businesses, everything that we talk about on this platform. It was a successful week at North Wilkesboro. So we'll have Chris Williams back on to discuss that. And Shep was with me when I did this. I walked across the racetrack while at North Wilkesboro and just happened to bump into my old friend, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Wow.
And we hit play, record on the old mobile unit for the podcast here, and got a little sit-down chit-chat at North Wilkesboro Speedway with Dale Earnhardt Jr. You do not want to miss that. Hadn't seen him probably in over a year. I texted with him some, but I hadn't talked to him in a long time. So we caught up and had some fun.
Great interview.
And so coming up in the second segment of the show, Chris Williams and Dale Earnhardt Jr. But I want to take a moment, guys, and thank our sponsor that gives us this platform to talk about all these issues that we're going to be talking about coming up in our upcoming Leaning Right moments. First of all, that's Pace-O-Matic. Pace-O-Matic is more than an entertainment company. They're part of the community, giving back and helping communities grow and thrive. That's why Pace-O-Matic is a proud supporter of the Smart Modified Tour and this podcast. Pace-O-Matic believes in supporting the neighborhoods they work in. To learn more about Pace-O-Matic and the work they're doing, visit www.paceomatic.com. So we personally thank Michael Pace and Carmen and everybody with Pace-O-Matic for their support, for giving us this platform. And
Gina, Alan Joseph, you got Goldine,
Mike Barley.
I mean, great people.
Oh, what a great couple.
We got a crew.
And you know what? You're listening to the Leaning Right and Turning Left podcast with Sadler and the Senator. We are back high atop the Stanley Law Group skyscraper overlooking beautiful downtown Richmond, the capital of the Commonwealth. Always love when we're back at the original source where we started this thing.
So before we get to Chris Williams and Dale Earnhardt Jr., what will we be discussing in the leaning right portion of the show? And don't forget your sponsor mention that is very important.
Well, and of course, my leaning right moment has always been sponsored by Tom Graziano and the Waterfront Cafe, located in beautiful downtown Farmville, Virginia. He's got a bakery. He's got a wine.
Charlie's Waterfront Cafe.
Oh, I'm sorry. Charlie's Waterfront Cafe. A little off today. Been a great sponsor, great friend.
Go there often.
We're always happy to have him as a sponsor. Make sure if you go down to Farmville, Virginia, and you need a bite to eat and a great place to have that dinner or that lunch, go to Charlie's Waterfront Cafe. So we've had some exciting stuff in this week. This is now Tuesday. Our podcast drop on Thursday, but last night was an explosive night in politics. Explosive on two levels. One at the national level and then one at the local level here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're looking at the person that created the fire, so to speak, the burn pile fire,
literally,
so to speak, or maybe was putting out the burn pile fire. We're going to find out a little more about that. We're going to do a deep dive. Shep has turned from special occasional co-host to topic. And I don't know if you're bringing it on yourself so we can talk about this. But we'll start with the national news. I think everybody went to bed last night understanding that over 40 federal agents executed a search warrant on the home of our former president, Donald J. Trump, looking for documents, they thought classified documents that might have been retained by the president. Unprecedented use of politicization of the Justice Department and the enforcement powers of the United States against a former president, unheard of before. Quite shocking, I think, when we all turned on the TV and saw what was going on. To think that we have come this far in our nation where the current regime is attacking the former regime, I think, because they feel threatened that President Trump may run again, or that the people that support President Trump may not reelect them in the midterms, that suddenly it is a group of people, over 50% of people who voted for him, who now seem to be, by proxy, the target. I mean, you have to think that if they executed a federal search warrant, this wasn't the FBI office in Florida doing it at Mar-a-Lago. This had to be at the highest levels. I would say all the way to the White House, because you're not going to do something like this because it has political overtones unless everybody signed off on it. And so that's the most disappointing thing that I think we saw yesterday, the intrusion of the federal government into a former president's home. What, looking for documents? Hey, here, I have a great idea. Donald?
Yes?
You got any documents at your house?
I don't know. I got a lot of boxes.
Can you look or have somebody look for them?
Sure. I'll get back to you.
That's how you do it. Not raid his house. I mean, seriously.
But didn't they raid one of his other aides or legal counsel a couple of
Roger
years ago?
Stone.
Yeah, Roger Stone. That's right.
I don't know what their relationship is exactly, but that was kind of in the middle of the night. They rode in at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning or something.
And think about what they've done since the impeachment. I mean, they've done everything to undermine a presidency that, quite frankly, upon reflection in the past 4 years, brought us the highest employment rate, the lowest unemployment rate, the highest wealth growth for all classes of people, all ethnicities.
401ks exploded.
We were strong in the world. You wouldn't see Putin invading Ukraine during Donald Trump's presidency. You wouldn't see China threatening to take over Taiwan, an independent nation. And now what we have is high inflation, high unemployment, gas prices. Joe Biden said, I have no control over the rising gas prices, but they went down 30 cents. And he said, look at me. I got the gas prices lower.
So what do you think is the motive for why they did this, when they did it? Obviously, they're trying to take focus off of the failed administration that Joe Biden is, you want to say leading, but I'm not sure what, take attention away from the failures of the Biden administration. But what would be the other motives for performing this type of an act at this time as we get closer to election time in November?
Well, I think it's political. I think what they're trying to do is, the old method of trying to train a dog not to poop on the rug was hit him in the nose with a newspaper. I think what they're trying to do is stunt any kind of and thwart any kind of resurgence of Donald Trump or the people that believe in him in the Make America Great Again movement. I think they're trying to flex their muscle to demonstrate that they now have the power of the federal government behind them to do whatever they want. Remember, this comes a day, and this is no coincidence in my mind. This comes a day after Biden gets the Senate to pass an inordinate amount of spending. Another huge spending bill that's going to drive inflation higher, that's going to hire 80,000 IRS agents.
87.
Sorry, I missed 7,000.
87,000.
I mean, Hermie, you can't find people to work at some of your places, but they're going to hire 87,000 federal workers to work for the IRS to go and audit people. And if there's not 87,000 rich people in the United States, they're going to go after the middle class because that's where all the money is.
Yeah, sure.
I think I heard it's only 800 billionaires in the United States. So why not just hire 800?
Right. Put one on each.
Yeah, and put one on each.
Yeah. No, because that's not what they're going to do. This is about control. Remember, they wanted to have the federal government be reported to by all the banks if you put more than $500 in a bank account. This is about control. Everything in the liberal left lunacy is about controlling the people. We've been seeing how they're trying to control your thought process, control your liberties and the ability to speak freely. And now they attack the symbol of what liberty and freedom is, how a lot of people in the United States view it. And I think, quite frankly, it is a horrible move on their part. I think it's going to backfire. I mean, they better have the goods on this guy, but they don't. For what? Documents? They think if they can find something like this, and I am to understand that they didn't really know what they were looking for, opened up a safe and there wasn't anything there, went willy-nilly and pulled out things that may or not be relevant, which is a violation of any kind of search warrant. They went and got this search warrant from, of course, a D.C. judge, where if you want a liberal judge, you go to D.C. It just seems to me that this is a continuation of impugning the character of our former president,
and
impugning the intelligence of those that support him or voted for him, and really an attack on the American people. This is not for, if you're liberal, you're going, Donald Trump got a search warrant. That's funny because you're in the defund the police camp, and you're letting murderers walk free or get bond, but you think we need to enforce the laws here? I mean, if this was the FBI raiding Barack Obama's house after he left the presidency, let's say Donald Trump or a Republican was president when it happened, what do you think the liberals
They'd be rioting in the street.
Right.
Richmond would be a war zone right now.
Right. And
all across the country.
Look, for people that were the knuckleheads that were involved in the Jan 6, they call it an insurrection. If there was an insurrection, it wouldn't be guys walking in and walking around taking selfies. They want 8 years for the Rocky Mount police officer who walked in there. They are keeping people in solitary confinement, not giving them bond. But you can't find a prosecution of any of those people in Portland that attacked a federal government building, a courthouse, and tried to kill federal agents. Law applies to the liberals only when they can use it as a weapon, politicization against their opponents. That is what you see in a puppet third world Cuban-style government. You know, Argentina, Venezuela. You know, this is what you see in third world countries where governments control the people to keep power.
Senator, you're completely different levels. But remember last week's podcast?
Yes.
We had a conversation about you potentially being investigated by the Washington Post.
By a newspaper, yes.
By a newspaper. And trying to maybe cloud you up or dirty you up in some way, shape, or form, and then indirectly try to maybe dissuade me from potentially running for a seat in the Senate of Virginia.
Yes.
And we had a discussion about those practices being invoked because the left, in a lot of cases, it's about them power and deflection.
Yeah, exactly right.
So we had that conversation. Now on a completely different level, going against, after a former president of the United States, same thing. They want to deflect from the Biden administration's failures, but they also want to, your words, dirty up potentially further, try to Donald Trump, to try to dissuade him somehow or get some of his supporters to not want to, support him. So the same things that you and I are facing.
Yeah.
Same thing Shep's facing on
We're
the
going to
local
talk about
level.
Shep too. Yeah.
We're facing on a state level. They're doing it on a national level. So it's
pervasive.
It doesn't matter the level. There are people that are they want to remain in power, and they want to deflect from failed policies or antiquated ways of doing business or doing things. And that's the only thing they know, the only way they know how to accomplish that.
And well stated. And quite frankly, think about it this way. They've been on the attack. Media's been on the attack, Donald Trump, ever since he got here. A crappy impeachment, the Russia hoax. I mean, it was a hoax. They admit it was a hoax. Mueller investigation. You go into Mar-a-Lago looking for documents, but do nothing when Hillary Clinton takes a ball-peen hammer to her classified, highly classified cell phone and bleach bits her servers and everything else. Oh, nothing to see here. But this, and don't forget, the President of the United States has the power and ability to declassify any document that he or she deems fit to declassify. If he's in possession of classified documents, like he would have been through the presidency. In fact, former presidents even get classified documents after the presidency. They're informed of things. It seems arcane what they're really going for. So you have to say, well, why would you do that? Well, if you could bring a charge, they're trying to bring a charge in this Jan 6 thing. It's not working. Nobody's paying attention. How do we step it up to the next level? When this didn't bite, let's go to the next level. So this is what they do. And to me, it looks desperate. And so they say, well, if we can't stop him, then if we get this arcane statute about maintaining classified documents, unauthorized if they're in your possession, then if they get a conviction, he may be disqualified from running for president. But I think this is awakening the slumbering giant. I think this is going to create a whole lot more backlash in the community, and it should. Everybody should be scared and worried. And I don't care if it was Obama or Clinton or Trump or Bush. This is a scary misuse of political power, misuse of the government's power politically.
You mentioned the FBI's lack of focus on Hillary Clinton. What about Hunter Biden?
Oh, yeah.
He just happens to just wake up and step into another pile of shit every day. I mean, and it's like,
yeah,
we're not, that's, and I don't care about Hunter Biden's personal life.
No.
That's him and what he does. But if his personal life and personal choices are creating a situation where our national security and how we are portrayed on the world stage is minimized by the actions, compromised by the actions of this guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
to line his own pockets, perhaps.
But even worse than that. I mean, he's a train wreck. I mean, I hate it for him and his family, and I wouldn't even wish that on President Biden. I mean, everybody wants their kids to grow up to do the right things and be good citizens and all that. And it's a parent never met Hunter Biden, don't care to, but you have to understand by this point he's got some problems, right?
Yeah.
So, but the problem for us is it's not just personal problems that are only affecting him. It's personal problems that if the FBI would maybe put a couple resources in there to try to track back on, all the issues with Hunter Biden, is that some of the reasons why President Biden sits on the sidelines while some of these other issues are going on worldwide. And to your point, Russia invading Ukraine, and I mean, China, Taiwan, all these things are brewing.
Yeah.
Like, in the oven cooking. And like we do nothing. Is it because is it because somebody's got something on these people, or are we, you know, what
makes you wonder? I mean, I don't know, but what is appalling to me is that they're shameless. They have no shame.
I'm just saying, when you look at Hunter Biden,
grab for power. When
you look at Hunter and you look at what Joe has done, or more importantly, has not done, and the way we are viewed on the world stage, how it has changed in the last couple of years. You look at Hillary Clinton, you look at all these things, you wouldn't think that potentially having some documents stored in at a house in Florida would be at the top of the list of things that we should be.
Well, and not only that, I mean, don't they make copies? Don't they have them on hard drives? Don't they have them on thumb drives? I mean, really? Is this one copy, the only copy? What are we talking about here?
Well, you know, I think part of the attack on Trump's too, though, is I think it's coincidental that a lot of his candidates that he are endorsing are winning these state races. And I think they can see this brewing, you know, this MAGA movement again. I mean, you know, as Hermie said, it's obvious at this point that things are being selectively ignored. There are things that are being selectively pushed. And the priority list is just all out of whack right now. It's no way that, I mean, when you look at Ukraine and Russia, you know, I don't want to see our country go to war. But at some point, you know, now we're going to let China invade Taiwan? Where is the line? Somebody's got to ring the bell on this.
We look weak. And I mean, the military-industrial complex is making money.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're sending arms over to Ukraine. They're back in business. They haven't been in business for a while. You know, it all kind of ties together. It's a shame. It's not the America in the United States of America that my dad defended and ultimately gave his life for in a service-related injury. It's something that is beyond the pale of what we thought where we'd be. I don't care. Look, Joe Biden's my president. Look, he's my president. I don't want any president to fail. If they were doing a good job right now, then they'd be on equal footing with trying to maintain the majority in the House of Representatives and in the Senate in the upcoming elections in November, the midterms as they call them. But this has been a disgrace. I mean, it just has been. I don't root for any president to fail. Okay, I want them to do what's right for America, regardless of party. To look outside the awesome power that they have and do what's right. That's what I want. But when you see something like this, even, you know, let's say they have a viable reason, it doesn't not only look good, but its effect on America is either they're so negligent they don't understand what effect this will have on America, they don't care, or they intend for that to be. They want disunion. They want us to be polarized and separate, divide and conquer. And this is one of those steps. And how can you not think that this all is together an intentional plan? Because nobody can be this dumb.
Well, it's getting to the point.
Nobody can be this bad with the economy.
When they're in the 30s on approval ratings, and even CNN and the other liberal media is starting to call them out and point things out and turn on them a little bit. And, you know, with all of the economic indicators, with inflation and, you know, unemployment right now has gone down, which is great, you know, but who is paying for all these mistakes? Ultimately, the American people, the citizens are paying.
Ultimately, the history.
Hey, I want to read this.
We're paying for all these mistakes.
Governor Glenn Youngkin tweeted a few moments ago, says, "This is a stunning move by the Department of Justice and the FBI. This same Department of Justice labeled parents in Loudoun County as terrorists and failed to enforce federal law to protect justices in their homes. This is selective, politically motivated actions and have no place in our democracy."
Selective. Word of the day.
Yeah, I mean, well stated, Glenn Youngkin, well stated. But it's so obvious as the nose on your face that, you know, what did you say? Even Ray Charles could see this.
Even Ray Charles.
You know, what has gotten into their minds to be so bold and brash? Where does it end? If it starts at Mar-a-Lago, where does it end?
They see, you know, they're really and truly, you even hate to say this because it sounds crazy to think it, but, you know, they want the Constitution to be thrown in the trash can. They want the American dream to die. They just want full control, and they're willing to do anything they can to get it. But they have no look. Go back to our own lawsuit, and I hate to, we try to bring it up. We don't want to bring it up every week and talk about it, but our lawsuit to save skill games and small businesses and protect their rights and protections. They have just railroaded any regard for the Virginia Constitution or the Constitution of the United States because it doesn't fit the narrative that they want.
Right.
And, you can always tie all this stuff back to the same playbook. They just, and luckily for us, we're standing up and fighting. And if they win, they're going to have to fight like hell, and expose a lot of their really true feelings and beliefs to be able to win. But
Hermie, do you know how hard it is and exhausting to stand up and fight? Well, obviously, because you're doing it
every day. But every day, every night, I go to bed with the weight of the world on my shoulders and wake up.
He does
every morning with the weight of the world on my shoulders.
But that's the problem. Most people don't have that fight.
Yeah,
you get tired, you get exhausted.
Well, you just want to live your life and be left alone half the time too.
The hell with it. I'm going to sit on the dock. What they do in D.C. doesn't affect me.
I got kids.
Gotta fight. Yeah,
Bill, you've got kids.
Definitely,
you've got kids.
I got kids.
I mean, what is if people like us don't try to save the American dream,
it's over,
and uphold the Constitution? Why are we even having this conversation? But if we don't, what are things going to be like 20 years from now?
Yeah, when our kids are our ages.
Yeah.
And so even Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader, put out this quote, and I like this the most. He's the minority leader in the House, probably will be Speaker if the majority swings back to Republican. Quote, he says, "I've seen enough. The Department of Justice has reached an intolerable state of weaponized politicization. When Republicans take back the House, we will conduct immediate oversight of this department, follow the facts, and leave no stone unturned. Attorney General Garland, preserve your documents and clear your calendar." Very well stated. But this is what you're going to see, and this is just going to keep bubbling and boiling and boiling. What you'll see next, because I'm a lawyer, the DOJ will probably try to release the affidavit to buttress whatever they're doing. See, this is what we were doing. That's what they're going to do. They're going to leak the affidavit. You're now going to see more polarization going on, back and forth, and the American people will decide, is this something that's important in preserving America, or are we going down the wrong path? Because remember, Benjamin Franklin, when asked what kind of government they had created, when they created the Constitution, he said, it's a republic if you can keep it. Right. And quite frankly, as they even said, we give you all of this awesome power to the individual called liberty and freedom. Government will constantly try to trade that liberty and freedom for security. And I've said it before. Franklin came back and said, a man that trades his liberty and freedom for security has neither and deserves neither. These are our founding fathers. They weren't wrong. They were prescient in terms of being able to see what would happen in the future because they knew this government, this federal system in this republic that they had created would get bigger and bigger and bigger because government has not just that tendency, it has that destiny. There's never truly a government that is totally responsive to the people and over time tries to get the people to be subservient to it and make sure that there's no higher power. That's why God is out of schools. And, they don't want any higher power or authority that the people think there is than the government. There's no creator. They're fine with that because then they control the lives, they control the outcomes, they control it all. And this is the path we're going down. Our founding fathers warned us about this. And here it comes.
It's really, for me, just as much about not what they're doing, it's why they're doing it and how they're doing it. I'm all for transparency and accountability and all that from the president right on down. But you can't pick and choose when you want that transparency and when you want that accountability. We should have it across the board. Yep. And they pick and choose when it fits their political motive. Look, let's take a quick break. And then we'll come back, change gears.
To Donald J. Shep. That controversy is coming up next.
We'll do that when we come back. We'll talk about the town council meeting in the town of South Hill, Virginia, and how it affected our man, Shep Moss.
All went up in flames like a burn pile. That next
Coming right up. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
Hi, folks. This is Hermie Sadler. Thanks for listening to our all-new podcast, Leaning Right and Turning Left with Sadler and the Senator. I hope you are enjoying the show as much as Senator Stanley and I enjoy bringing it to you. Whether you're a family traveling together or a truck driver hauling freight up and down the highway, I hope you will take the time to visit one of our Sadler Travel Plaza locations in Virginia and North Carolina. Sadler Travel Plaza locations are licensed dealer locations for Pilot Travel Centers. And we also carry Shell Motiva petroleum products for our four-wheel friends. We pride ourselves on providing one-stop shopping for service, food, and entertainment. Our food options include Five Guys Burgers and Fries, Quiznos, Dairy Queen, Hermie Sadler's Faux Show Bar and Grill, Victory Lane Restaurant, Hunt Brothers Pizza, Dunkin' Donuts, and much, much more. Our locations include Sadler Travel Plaza in South Hill, located off I-85 at Exit 12. The Sadler Travel Plaza of Emporia, which is conveniently located on Exit 11B off I-95, and Sadler Travel Plaza on Highway 58 in Suffolk. We also have our North Carolina location, Sadler Travel Plaza in Dunn, North Carolina. That's Exit 75 off I-95. We appreciate all of our customers. And Bill and I appreciate you listening to Leaning Right and Turning Left with Sadler and the Senator, powered by Pace-O-Matic.
Hey, this is Bill Stanley, Hermie Sadler's sidekick on this podcast. When I'm not in Richmond at the Capitol or doing this podcast, my real job for the past 27 years is as a trial attorney with the Stanley Law Group. Here at the Stanley Law Group, we represent our clients in every courthouse in the Commonwealth. No problem is too small for us to solve. No case is too big for us to win. Whether it's criminal charges, traffic offenses, civil disputes, litigation matters of any sort, we handle it all. We make sure that we treat every client like family because they are to us. Your problem is our problem. Your success is our success because we hate to lose more than we love to win. And believe me, we win a lot. Don't believe me? Go ask Hermie. I'm his favorite lawyer, and he hates lawyers. So give us a call at 540-721-6028 and let us help you. Or visit our website at www.vastanleylawgroup.com. That's www.vastanleylawgroup.com. At the Stanley Law Group, we'll make sure we're the lawyers that you swear by and not at. And we're back. I'm Virginia State Senator Bill Stanley, and I'm steaming right.
I'm Hermie Sadler, and I'm turning left. Coming up later today on the show, Chris Williams, the promoter for the Smart Modified Tour, and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And we have a competition coming up as well that we're going to have to put together here to let you root on for your favorite podcaster, whether it's the leaning right side or the turning left side. We're going to have a competition between you and me, Hermie, and I think we have browbeat Shep into being a part of this competition.
I'm going to take it, Chad.
It's going to be a competition that's going to benefit charity. We're going to explain it after we get through the mess, the Shep mess, the Shep show. Because last night was a Shep show, wasn't it, Shep?
It was something.
It was such a Shep.
I can tell you.
It was such a Shep show that I can tell you we knew you were going to this meeting. We knew it was going to be a tough day. You didn't show up for podcast taping. Hermie and I were going out and having a celebratory dinner for placing 10th and 1st at North Wilkesboro. We're sitting there. We're texting you. You're not texting back. We're asking you, is everything going well? We know that there might have been a risk to your liberty, and nothing. And we are starting to get worried.
I mean, my phone
that we were going to have to bail you out. I mean, Hermie was calling his banker to make sure that he had enough in the account to pay the bail. And then we get this phone call on each one of our phones. This phone call right here, and made us worry a little more.
You have an incoming call from
Shep Moss,
an inmate at the Mecklenburg County Correctional Facility. To accept this call, please press 1.
Ooh. So, how long did you spend in the clink?
A couple hours.
All right, so
let's talk about it.
Tell us what happened, in your words.
And you've talked about it before. What has led up to this?
Yeah, we've mentioned it before, not to go through the whole story, but back in May, our town had to destroy documents that had expired. It's done by Virginia State Code. But
all sorts of documents, but even personnel records and private information, was it not?
Well, we were told no personnel or payroll, that these were just expired documents. So instead of shredding it, our town manager, Kim Callis, decided to burn them, which is allowed by Virginia code. But he chose to burn them in an open burn pit at our wastewater treatment plant. And when I say a pit, it's not even a pit. It's just out in the open field. And I had concerned citizens reach out to me. Hey, this doesn't look right. Some photographs were sent. I brought it up. Didn't get the answers that I thought were correct. In fact, I got answers that I knew were misrepresentations based on the information I'd received. So I just kept investigating it. Lots of irregularities were proven in a town council meeting. And last night, 2 fellow council members brought 2 charges against me, of which you'll be handling, by the way.
They brought charges or made motions?
They made motions to bring charges. Okay. Excuse me.
Criminal charges.
Yeah, criminal charges. So the whole focus of these council members is who sent me the pictures. They want to know who let the cat out of the bag that this was being done. Proven to be illegal.
Wanting you to turn on your fellow citizen.
Yes. Proven, and a lot of things were proven to be illegal or not best business practice.
Illegal on the part of the dump and burn.
Yes. It got
in
to
your
the
opinion.
point, in my opinion.
In your opinion.
And even DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, came in and shut that burn location down after the meeting.
The burn itself or the whole location?
The whole location. The burn location has been permanently shut down by Virginia DEQ.
Was that where people had burned before?
They have burned there before. Yes, sir. So the whole target of this has been who gave up this information, whom I don't think is relevant at this point. It's not who did it, it's what was done. Going a lot to what Hermie is, what he's been saying about transparency. So the first motion passed to pursue a FOIA request of me individually, which I'm not sure can be done because I'm not the locality.
What?
Of all text and email messages pertaining to the photographs of the documents.
Why is that a public record?
That's why you get paid.
Was that on your personal
$500
phone? Yeah, 500, 600 now.
It just went up.
Yeah, 500 for Herm. So wait a minute.
It is on my personal.
How much for Angie?
Actually, pro bono.
I got your pro bono
right here.
Yeah.
Look. We can work it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
So wait a minute. So
It's on my personal phone.
they're asking to FOIA your personal phone, which is not government property,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Don't litigate it here, though.
Well, I mean, FOIA is for the release of public documents and records in the possession of the government or a government agency or official. I don't know that that's a public document.
A photograph.
Someone who sends you a complaint, let's say, Councilman, the dog next door is barking incessantly. Right. Is that FOIAble? I don't think so.
Time will tell.
Doesn't sound like it to me. You, Brad? Brad Tuesday's here. Our executive producer has been having a very challenging couple days with the podcast equipment. I don't think that hits it. Right, but this was about a commission. This is about. Shut up, Brad. You're killing me over here.
Hey, time will tell. So anyway,
Brad, go get your law degree and then you can talk. I don't know why I asked you.
That motion passed.
Okay,
no problem. So then these.
So you got to go to court. You're going to challenge that, right? You're not going to turn over.
Whatever you advise.
What is their purpose? Why do they want your document? Or why do they want?
They want the source.
They want to know who narked on them. Right?
Yes,
who
I gave them the pictures. I gave them the photographs. This is not
shame
right.
on that citizen who caught us.
Oh, exactly.
Citizens who caught us.
Plural. Yes. Who caught us?
And so you're standing in protection of the everyday resident of South Heel.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then what?
So then the next motion by pompous ass,
in your opinion,
in my opinion, was to turn this over to the police and the Commonwealth Attorney to see if charges should be brought against me for trespassing.
Why do they need the town council's permission if they're the Commonwealth's attorney or a police officer to file a criminal complaint against you?
Well, look.
What is that, somehow giving the thumbs up to it mean you better prosecute him?
Probably. So they brought that motion for trespassing and a class 6 felony theft of public documents.
Oh, this sounds like Donald Trump.
Now,
the Donald Trump of South Hill. Is your house called Shepelago?
Now,
are they coming for you?
Now let's go back of how this narrative has changed, and this is something y'all talk about all the time, that they spin the narrative they want you to hear.
But how did that motion go?
Oh, that failed.
Okay, all right.
That
talk about the
failed
narrative.
thanks to my good colleagues who saw the transparency need in this whole process.
Okay, so this narrative
in the June meeting, the documents were expired documents. They were not personnel. They were not payroll. They were not confidential. Because they had expired, they were now, as described by a town attorney, debris and trash.
Well, then how can
they
you
were
be,
no longer.
How can you be thieving a document?
They were no longer public records. But
okay,
now,
and think of it this way, Shep. I'm a criminal defense attorney. If I have a client and he puts evidence in a trash can, if he's keeping that evidence in the trash can next to his house, that would require a search warrant. But if that defendant walks his trash can out to the end of the driveway for the trash man to come get it, he is then abandoned it. Or if he takes it to the dump and puts it in a bag, throws it over the fence, he or she has abandoned that document.
So it's free game.
So there's no possessory interest of that which you're taking in the law.
well,
In the law.
in our August meeting, miraculously, those same documents, the narrative got spun to now that they were town documents. They were your information to the citizens, this council member proclaimed. This is your personal private information, and he stole it. He removed it. He trespassed me. Yes. He trespassed on property that he doesn't own.
But that's public property. Is it not? It's a dump, right?
Well, we have since learned that property actually, where the burning actually takes place, belongs to the county, not the town.
Okay. Is there any do not trespass signs around there?
The time that I went, there was no trespassing signs up. This issue came up during the meeting, and our town manager actually got caught again in another misrepresentation.
Allegedly.
He could not answer the question of when the signs were put up.
Okay.
Oh, it's a complete shit show.
So we talk about the public, the gaining of documents. We've talked about that. In a trespass situation, there are two types of trespass. One is a criminal trespass, when I go upon your property with a criminal intent. I have the mens rea to create a criminal trespass, and then there's civil trespasses. And that's a common law trespass. It's not a criminal act. At worst, that may be, but you're going on for a specific public purpose.
But look, I need to.
So you don't have some criminal intent to go do this. I mean, I don't think a Commonwealth's attorney or a cop is going to issue a warrant, but the fact that your town council would even consider such a motion, in my mind and in my opinion, is ludicrous.
Well, I need to set the table, or finish setting the table. The reason the documents became important is because our town manager assured the town council and the citizens of South Hill that this was all done 100% legally, that the documents were completely destroyed,
Which they weren't.
And that's what I'm leading to. I kept looking at these photos and seeing documents laying on the ground
where you could see names, addresses, personal information.
Well, not in the photos, but I just saw the picture, paper on the ground. So I took it upon myself 30 days after the alleged final burn to go there and visit the site. I was invited to go to that site by a town supervisor of over 35 years. I was given permission directed how to get there. When I get there, I find documents with personal private information littered all over the area. So they were not completely destroyed. They were not incinerated as required by Virginia law. And we were lied to. It's no other way to say it.
Okay, so long story short, I mean, did they pass any other more motions against this issue, or?
Well, no. So the motion to pass this along to the Commonwealth Attorney failed. They did pass the FOIA request, which we'll address. And then after the town council meeting, the council member
Can a government FOIA a government?
Private citizens.
Or usually the FOIA is for a private citizen. Brad's finally making sense again. Yeah, I mean, usually FOIA is an instrument of the citizen against the government for transparency.
Monitor your email through.
This is crap.
So that may be why the town councilman resigned, so he can make the FOIA
so
request.
And that's
speed
what
it
I'm
up
getting
here.
to. So after the meeting, the council member who made these motions and lost, and in my opinion was publicly embarrassed during the meeting by the citizens who were there, that completely showed their outrage of this overreach and these personal attacks. He resigned. How convenient. He took his ball and went home. Now, he was not seeking re-election, but, you know, we have elections.
got an early
in 3
vacation.
months. Yep. So how convenient for him to resign.
So where does this go from here, Shep? I mean, are you waiting on, I guess we've got a FOIA battle on our hands. Maybe a criminal referral wasn't made, but certainly what they're trying to do is bring attention to your Commonwealth attorneys, your police officers, that maybe you did something wrong to stir the pot.
It's just like I
Because
told
what? You challenged their authority, just like perhaps Donald Trump did.
Well, it's just like I
At the
told
local level.
the citizens last night. Everything I've done has been in good faith. It was for transparency reasons. I did it to uncover misrepresentations that I knew were being told. I did return the document.
And they're doing this why? They don't like you, Shep, do they?
This is not Democrat
Trying to get you
and
in line,
Republicans.
aren't they, Shep?
Oh, yeah. But this is not Democrat and Republicans. This
Old
is
school versus new school.
This is what's going on all across towns, not only across the Commonwealth, but throughout the country. This is old guard versus new guard. This is, as Hermie said a few minutes ago, antiquated ways against new ways. This last night, in my opinion, was a passing or a taking of the torch for the next generation of this council
Taking of the
in
torch.
our town. The torch wasn't passed. I think we took
Fire, get it?
it. Was taken.
Great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Look.
Just keep them coming.
Look, Hermie, what do you think about all this? I mean, weigh in here. I mean, this is South Hills where you do business.
Yeah, yeah.
Certainly you know a lot of people there.
What Shep is not also mentioning is there have been several other issues or questionable practices related to things with this town council in South Hill, related to the theater, other monies that, you know, and they just didn't like the fact, I don't like the fact that somebody is questioning what they're doing, asking questions about why'd you do this? Why'd you agree to that? Why'd you sign this? Why y'all in agreement on this? How come we don't get information on that? And it's been a constant, you know, but that's why the people voted for Shep and a couple other new people on town council, was to push for transparency. And as you well know, the people that have been there that may or may not be involved in, you know, some of the other things going on in the town that don't want transparency, you know, they don't like being asked. Just like, you know, and I've heard you say this many times, going back to our lawsuit again, they don't like the fact that we've challenged the government.
Right.
You know.
Exactly right. Yeah, you challenge the authority.
Challenge the authority.
And, you know, that's what a democracy, that's what a free people,
yeah,
allowing government to govern them, they have that right. And that's given in the Constitution, to petition your government to redress grievances. And those grievances are usually always against the government.
Yes.
And it's to get the government to acknowledge and change and to hold them accountable and keep it honest.
Senator, it's to the point that beginning of the year, maybe last fall, I had to put in a standing automatic renewal FOIA request with the town of South Hill for me to just get committee meeting minutes and notes and notifications. And I'm an elected official of the town, and I asked the town manager,
that's a requirement under the law.
What committee just met? What was discussed? What handouts were given?
They probably gave you a dirty look, right?
And I have to do a FOIA request with our town clerk to get this information? Wow. And they want to charge me with trespassing?
Yeah.
On land that they don't even own?
Make a motion.
And they don't even own this land? Well, they say they have an easement.
Oh, my goodness.
They have an easement to this land.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is just the beginning volley, the opening volleys of what will be known as Burn Pile Gate in South Hill.
This will be a continuing update.
Shepapalooza.
He's not finished yet. As you
What I want the listeners to get from this, it's not about the documents. It's about the lies. It's about the
alleged
lies.
In your opinion.
About the
just trying to be a lawyer here.
It's about, in my opinion, the lack of transparency.
There you go.
And this is what I was mentioning to Hermie a few minutes ago. It's exhausting. You know, I'm sitting there last night. I'm worried about embarrassment for our town. I'm worried about embarrassment for my friends, my family. My wife is sitting at home watching this. I get home, she's in tears.
Gosh, she's got to be bored.
You know.
stiff.
Yeah. I mean, damn, she can't watch Real Housewives if this crap's on YouTube.
But my point is to the listeners, get involved. Make a difference.
Sure.
This stuff is real, and it is happening in localities all across the state. It's happening right here with this lawsuit that you guys are bringing. But you've got to be willing to fight. You've got to be willing to take a stand.
Nicely stated.
And we'll keep this dialogue going. Keep everybody updated. Appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah,
work that needs to be done, and we'll keep following it.
Shep the Crusader.
And I mean, somebody needs to speak up.
Look, somebody needs to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. So coming up, we've got Chris Williams and Dale Earnhardt Jr. They are my turning left moments, and my turning left moments are sponsored by Laura Stanley and Vista Installations. Laura has been running a successful window and door installation company and babysitting politicians for over 12 years. We'll be right back with Chris Williams and Dale Earnhardt.
And then we're going to close out with a challenge, a competition. So you got to listen to that even after these great interviews.
We'll be right back.
If someone relies on you financially, your spouse, your child, anyone, life insurance gives you the peace of mind that they'll have a financial cushion if something ever happens to you. By making it easy to compare your options from top companies, Goliath Life helps make sure you're not paying a penny more than you have to for the life insurance coverage you need to protect those you love. At GoliathLife.com, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. The process is fast and easy with no hidden fees, upsells, or hassles. Goliath Life is your one-stop shop to find the life insurance you need at the right price. Head to GoliathLife.com to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's GoliathLife.com.
We're back. You know, we've decided we love competition. We're back. I'm Senator Bill Stanley. I'm leaning right. And I know turning left over here is my chubby little friend, Hermie Sadler, and my chubbier little friend, Shep Moss.
Wait a minute.
What?
Chubby.
We're going to find out if you're chubbier than both
exactly.
of us. We have decided, because we love competition, we love to win, we want to do something that kind of motivates us all, the three of us. We could all shed some pounds. So we're going to have a weight off. We're going to have like the race at North Wilkesboro. This is going to be, I think, an event where we can do some good for ourselves and our bodies, for our families in turn. And they'll eat some miserable food while we eat miserable food to try to lose weight. But we're going to lose weight, try to get down to a good fighting weight that we used to be and belong to once before. But I don't know about you guys, but COVID kind of changed my physique or my desire to care about my physique. So we're going to have a weight loss challenge. You ready, Shep? You in?
I need to be in.
Hermie, you in?
I'm in.
Okay.
In both feet first.
So we're agreeing to do this, and we want you all to follow along as we do this weight loss together. Let's try to establish some ground rules here real quick. My number one rule is, you can't use like Nutrisystem or one of those plans. I mean, this has got to be on your own volition. Natural weight loss. Mm-hmm. Working out, eating right, that kind of stuff. Okay? And do we get...
No professional help.
No professional help.
That's a good way of putting it. No professional help. Okay, so that's ground rule number one.
Okay.
2, I think all of us put in $500, and the winner, it goes to their favorite charity. Mine is going to be Homeward Trails.
Oh, what a great one.
Homeward Trails.
Yeah, they're rescuing the Envigo Beagles. They're doing a great job.
Yep.
I'll buy some dog food, some cat food.
So it's got to be a nonprofit. Any nonprofit.
Nonprofit would be preferred. Maybe the South Hill Burn Center.
Mine's going to be the Hermie and Elliott Sadler Foundation. Bill's is going to be Homeward Trails. Shep?
I'm going to do mine, since we're always supporting small business. I'm going to do mine as
Memory Makers.
The shops of South Hill. Well, I was going to say my get out of jail fund, but the shops of South Hill. They're a nonprofit, C6.
What do they do?
They're looking out for small business in South Hill, Virginia.
So tell me about Hermie and Elliott Sadler Foundation. What do you guys do?
From the year that Haley was diagnosed, a year after, in the early 2000s, up until 5-6 years ago, it was strictly towards raising money and donating monies to families that had special needs, kids that needed funding for additional outside of school services and things of that nature. It was strictly for that. Now, we still do that, and we also support breast cancer initiatives because my mom's fight, with that.
Yeah.
Other little local things that come up, charity needs and initiatives around town, and maybe EGRA, baseball, softball in the community, things of that nature. But it used to be just autism, and now we take each request, kind of individually, and Elliot and I do, and decide things we want to support in the town, whether it be special needs or otherwise. So the deal is, we're all going to put up $500.
$500.
Wow.
So $1,500 to the charity.
$1,500
if you win.
To the charity if you win. It's going to be a simple deal of, we're going to, Chad, go get the scales, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's have the weigh-in.
We're going to have the official weigh-in, and then here's what we'll do to keep it simple.
Okay.
Because we don't know exactly what the date will be.
Right.
But the first show that we tape in the new year.
In January.
In January. 2023.
We got to get through all those Christmas meals.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoever loses the most weight between now and January 2023, just straight poundage, will be the winner of the contest.
I like it.
Sounds pretty simple to me. I mean,
and we are starting the day off. We all had 12-inch subs, so it's no advantage to start.
I think we've.
All right, boss, you going first?
I'll go first.
All right, hop up on the scale.
Hold on. I think we should have appropriate music, okay? Come on, Chubby, get up on the way.
Take your shirt off.
Yeah.
Take your shirt off.
Come on, Chubby.
Come on, hop up on the scale. Let's go.
Wow.
Here comes Moss.
That's actually
Walls.
It's actually
Wait, keep going.
It's actually
It's
less
going.
than I thought.
It's going.
Damn, does this wheel level stop?
Shep Moss
Are we going down here?
weighs in
Mark it.
at a tidy 240 pounds.
240 pounds heavyweight champion
You know the
of the
prize
world.
You know
Shep
that prize wheel on
Moss.
The Price is Right. It just keeps spinning and spinning. That's what the damn scales
Shep,
look like.
let's interview Shep after the weigh-in. What are your thoughts after that weigh-in
I
performance?
feel sorry for my wife. That's what
Wow.
is.
240. No wonder the burn pile shook when Shep Moss arrived.
I got a little work to do.
You must have spent the embers up into the air.
All right,
pretty
I'm
good.
going next.
All right.
Let me hop up on the
There we go.
scales here.
Ladies and gentlemen, NASCAR legend, NASCAR Fox announcer, Herm Dog, the Hermie Man Sadler.
Ain't no way in the world these scales are right.
Oh my goodness! Oh, it's climbing
it's
there.
a close second.
Coming there, Chef.
It's a close second.
Man, you wear it really well, dude. The final weight,
Jesus.
233 pounds.
I mean, if you were 6 inches taller, you'd look a lot different.
Wow. Man, that's impressive.
30. That
carry
is
it well.
borderline embarrassing.
And you putting him back in a race car? It ain't no way. You're gonna need a roof rack.
Yeah. We might violate a weight requirement on that one.
All right, so Shep Moss is the leader in the clubhouse at 240.
All right.
Hermie comes in at a relatively suave 233.
All right, let me take some of my keys out of my pockets.
It's not how much you weigh; it's how much you lose, right, Brad?
Yeah. The bigger, the better, almost. Isn't it?
Exactly.
It's easier to go. This might be all water weight for you, Shep. All right, I'm gonna do it. All right. Oh,
Both feet, Senator.
both of them.
Yeah, flat-footed,
Look, I'm
please.
a lot lighter as one.
Now, that's not fair.
Come on.
That just ain't fair.
There we
Wait a
go.
minute.
Still an
Skin and bones, 202 pounds.
I've never seen a 42-inch waist weigh in at 202.
Hey, it's 36, all right? I swear it's 36. There you go.
Yeah, with elastic.
All right, we locking those in, right?
We're locking them in.
Wow.
To recap, Hermie Sadler comes in at a hefty 233, only bested by what? No, hefty.
Not
no?
hefty.
Why
We
it's
don't
gotta
need
be
the
hefty?
adjectives.
A jovial
Jovial.
233.
I've had a lot of stress on me lately.
That's so have I.
Yeah.
So have I. Actually, my problem is my kids. They buy food and they eat food, but then the food is exactly where I can reach it. So that's been. I mean, Fritos are delicious.
I mean, he just spent a couple of days at camping with
All right,
his
so
kids.
I'm 233, Bill's 202, Shep's 240. Let's just get a prediction. Senator, what is your target weight for January 2023?
170.
170.
You said 32 pounds.
That's 32 pounds. That's your target.
That's what I'm at my.
Septimus?
238. Now let's go with
Very reasonable.
215.
215. But if you
You
hit
have to-
215, you're going to lose.
Right.
But-
Well, that's only assuming that I
Well,
don't hit
that's-
170.
I mean-
that I'm not going to 32 pound it.
I'm going for 200.
There you go. One better than me.
I'm going big.
Yeah, go big or go home, Shep. You want to reconsider your 215? I mean, what is that? That's 25 pounds.
But
That's a lot of weight.
we're all talking about losing weight through Thanksgiving into Christmas.
Exactly.
It's going to be great.
Do we need to read?
I can see it now.
The weigh-in
Shep
date.
gets back up on the scale January 257.
Hermit, can I come over and borrow your sauna?
Can I add one more thing to the mix?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here's what we're going to do.
All right.
If for any reason anybody weighs in heavier than they've weighed in today, for every pound they're over, it's another $100 you got to throw in the kit.
Oh, I'm in.
Oh,
Totally in. Shep, you better sell some dresses at Memory Makers, brah.
damn.
Hey, and should we add Brad Tuesday to this old Chad Monday by
he's too
making him
skinny.
gain weight?
He's too skinny.
See if he can gain weight.
He's too skinny.
So wait a minute. Now you're telling me I'm putting up 500 plus 100 for every pound if I'm over 250.
If you weigh
if
in,
you're over
look,
240.
let me just tell you,
It's
if
for
you
charity.
come back in and weigh in over 240, you have a lot more problems than $100
I would agree.
so
But it's per pound.
per pound.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
So if you're waving around 244 right before we get back together and the scale comes back out, you better be like eating bananas and
I'm
doing all
going to have
cabbage
COVID.
soup
I'm not
diet.
coming. I'm not coming to the last week.
I got the flu. Okay, go. This is going to be fun, and it's for a good cause. Two good causes. One is our health, and two is the charities that are going to benefit from this, and I think that's a great thing too. Now, will there be times when we just come in and maybe have
we have to.
a weigh-in?
You know
where we
it.
all get
But
back
it's not
together?
official.
No.
It has nothing to do with the eventual
It's
outcome.
more of a motivator to kind of
Correct.
maybe some bragging right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because we don't get
Don't do
together
it
every
weekly.
week.
They always say you want to check it monthly. Weekly could get you discouraged.
Yeah, bi-monthly.
Too much stress.
I'm
Chad,
thinking
executive producer, you keep the
I'm
paperwork.
thinking quarterly.
Hey, wait a minute. We need
Hey,
to
if
sign
any
that.
listeners want to do this with us,
Yeah.
We need to
they
sign.
can post it on Facebook.
We need to sign
on
this.
the
I'll sign beside
Leaning
mine.
Right, Turning Left Facebook page and go to
Christ,
Twitter page.
233.
If you're joining in this crusade,
That's a
Bam.
very good idea, Shep.
Shep,
you mark your
sign
journey
this
with
like
us.
you just signed your warrant. You got it at the town council meeting last night.
I've got my motto, my slogan: losing beef for the Beagles.
Beef for the beef.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, I got to
Sign this. Official contract. Mr. Stanley,
I'm gonna have to have a lawyer.
202. That's not even in the ball game.
It's horrible.
I've never seen a 202 with a 42-inch waist.
36, man. But I tell you what,
That's with
I'm moving
elastic.
from a large to an extra large shirt, and I don't like that. Okay. But, you know, I got to tell you,
Let me see it one more time, Chad. I'm going to take a picture of that.
I got to tell you, you carry it very well. You carry 233 very well. You really do.
But look, Senator, again, if anybody wants to join in, let them do their journey with us on the Facebook page.
Yeah, absolutely happy to have anybody who wants to get involved in this or anybody who wants some of this action. Let us know.
Nobody want none of this action. Way we way.
Why do you think we're doing this?
But
So
so-
we can get some action.
So Hermie and I, you know, we've talked about, man, I got to lose weight. We talk to each other, man, I got to lose weight. Well, the only thing that we do really well is like compete.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think with the competition is going to be the motivation that I need, that Hermie needs. I mean, I want to get better. I want to get more healthy. I think COVID really kind of did it for a lot of people. I mean, I thought we were all going to die,
what
so I
you're
just started
blaming
eating
it on?
Pop-Tarts. Yeah, I mean, I thought we were all going to die. So I think this is a great way to do it. It's for a great cause, and so I'm excited. And I showed Hermie, because Hermie and I talked a little bit about this. And I transformed the alcove of my master bedroom in my house, pulled out the couches, the chairs, and put in some exercise equipment that has been sitting in the garage for a good year or two. So it's in great shape. And we'll see, will I be on it or will my laundry be hanging from it? That is going to be the question from here until the beginning of the year when we come right back here to the Stanley Law Group skyscraper and we do the official weigh-in and the moment of truth will be revealed.
I'll be jogging up that day from Saturday. I'll leave a little extra early.
Right, and 4 layers of clothes that you're sweating it out. We're looking forward to this. I think this is it. The leaning right and turning left with Sadler and Senator way off. And let's hope we all
gonna
lose
be
some good
fun.
weight and we all look great in the future, all right?
Wait a minute. I got something I want to play as we go off the air here.
Yo, Andre. Without Heavy, there ain't no show.
Indeed.
Count money all PayPal.
Hermie's got a little bebop rhythm man, doesn't he? Look at it.
They'll be here.
It's more like the video than the song itself. Keep going. Here comes D.
Yo, where's Heavy D? Where's
Heavy D's sitting to my left.
On the far end. I will say, 240 is a little heavy, but it's...
And the girlie is warm. Time to make my move. So gently I kiss her in her ear, and tell her that I miss her. She might try to pop the boyfriend.
I feel like I'm losing weight already.
Because I know he's a punk.
Problem's going to be,
If he tries to approach, he can't get close 'cause I'm the one who.
I'm going to have to pay the $500 and buy a new wardrobe.
All you need is a glance. If you want to get warm,
That's the
It'll be an
goal.
expensive,
I mean, you didn't see. I saved my clothes, so I was still got my 32s and my 34s. Yeah.
the house, overweight lovers in the house.
Overweight low.
Lovers in the house. Lovers in the house.
In January.
Oh,
That'd be
this is
another
gonna
thing.
fun.
Angie would be really proud of that too.
Oh,
Yeah. This is why we do
All
what
right,
we
so
do.
good luck, and good luck to any of our followers and listeners that chime in and try to get a little bit healthier too.
Yeah.
And we'll keep everybody informed. Every once in a while, we'll hop back on the scales and see what kind of progress everybody's making.
And give each other crap, which is what we do best around here, isn't it?
All right, y'all want to run downstairs and get a sandwich?
I think we better, if you're going to eat it now, kids, because the ding-ding of the bell is about to ring.
Yeah, when does it start? Today?
Right now.
It's already started.
You officially
We signed the
weighed in?
contract. So
Maybe this is going to help me outrun the cops in South Hill, maybe.
Ooh, well,
If you could change one thing about your home, what would it be? A new kitchen, a new master bath, maybe put in a pool? What if you could do it with no money out of pocket and cheaper monthly payments? SaveWithConrad.com can help, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. NMLS number 65084, Equal Housing Lender, SaveWithConrad.com.
and we're back. I'm Virginia State Senator Bill Stanley. I'm always leaning right.
And I'm Hermie Sadler, and I'm still hoarse
We both
without a voice from yelling and screaming at the historic North Wilkesboro Speedway. But
And you're turning left.
I'm turning left. This is Leaning Right and Turning Left with Sadler and the Senator. And as always, we are powered by Pace-O-Matic. Family-owned businesses are at the heart of the communities that Pace-O-Matic serves. It's why Pace-O-Matic is a proud supporter of the Smart Racing Tour and this podcast, because Pace-O-Matic believes in lifting up our neighborhoods, supporting local restaurants, convenience stores, bars, and truck stops. That's the focus of what Pace-O-Matic does. For more information, visit www.paceomatic.com. And, you know, Senator, one thing we always promote, push, protect, encourage on this podcast is the protection and the growth of small businesses.
Indeed.
And we saw a small business, in my view, in a small town, historic town, come back to life this week, right here in North Wilkesboro, where we are. We had a big race last night, another one coming up tonight. And the guy who joins us now has been on a prior podcast promoting the Smart Tour, but he is here this week working in North Wilkesboro in a combined team effort from a lot of different people that are making it work. Chris Williams, I know you've been around racing longer than I have and love it as much or more than anybody that I know. What was going through your mind last night when the green flag dropped on the open wheel modified tour race at North Wilkesboro Speedway in front of a packed house?
Yeah, you just said that, and I got cold chills again. And you know, the vision of what we were going through over the last 2 months and trying to get here. I mean, I was probably the first person to raise their hand when Barry and XR leased the track, you know, from SMI. And I was the one raising my hand because I knew modifieds was made for this racetrack. I mean, I knew it. Martinsville, North Wilkesboro, the historical Coke 300s they used to have here. And I raised my hand because I knew it would elevate modified racing. Doesn't matter if it's smart, open wheel, North, everybody, I knew it would elevate. And so last night when I was sitting in the director's seat and all of the efforts from teams and drivers and just the fans pouring in, one, I knew that North Wilkesboro had made its mark again, right? It's come back. Number two is I realized that short track racing is more than alive. If you notice all across the country, doesn't matter if it's XR, doesn't matter if it's SRX, it doesn't matter wherever. All of a sudden, you're seeing that push in grassroots racing for that guy that's out there driving that's, you know, racing for, you know, last night was 8,000, it's different. But normally they're racing for hundreds of dollars, not going to get their return investment. But when the green flag fell and JB threw it, the crowd roared. And I've got headsets on when I direct because I don't like the noise around our booth. You know what I'm saying? And so the crowd was so loud, I got a grin. And I just looked
I told Bill, too, I said, it's been a long time since I've been at the racetrack where the crowd drowned out the sound
of a modified.
Of the modified,
yes,
30-plus car modified field. And same thing when the checker flag fell.
That same thing.
When Ryan Newman came back around and pulled back up, the crowd just roared with appreciation, whatever the case may be. It was just an unbelievable beginning and end and a great race in between.
Absolutely. 2 wide, 3 wide, even 4 wide, a couple of laps for the first 25. And then, a couple of tough cautions. But I think with the tires and everything that we had and what we were seeing, I think 50 laps was made for this, for the first race back. I think anything else would probably been drawn out, and the tire wear was so significant anyway. You probably couldn't have scripted any better. Not saying that it had to be this person or that person to win. I'm talking about the overall aspect of the operation, the fans, the excitement, the push from Wilkesboro and everybody else. I mean, a lot of people's been wanting to see this day for a long time, and it came last night, and a lot of people in the garage was like, I'm so happy to be a part of it, and they ran 30th. I'm so happy to be a part of it, they ran 28th. Everybody loved being here, and just exciting. And look, I'm just going to say it, you guys too, you and the senator, I mean, think about it. A year and a half ago, you didn't have a race car. And you've been
8 months ago, we didn't have a race car.
But
what pieces.
But what I'm saying is, y'all made a huge investment in saying, "Hey, I like what's going on," and you're supporting the series extremely well. I mean,
That's the thing that one of the things I laugh at there's people in Bill's profession that are looking at him and saying, "Oh, he's making money racing, and he's making money doing a podcast." They have no idea.
Yeah.
The money we won last night will almost come close to fixing the wreck we had at Caraway.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't.
It didn't cover it.
Yeah.
But and I told Bill this last night. I said once things settled down, and it was just kind of our little group outside, I said, Bill, our team, our car, and our driver will be the only one to ever win the first race back at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah, it's huge.
He said it was going to be a Jeopardy question, so I'm going to now have to watch Jeopardy.
Well, look, I mean, let's look at the press alone today. I mean, last night, we've had people from Twitter and Facebook and saying that the trending of what's going on in the last couple of days has been crazy, but now it's off the chain. That's what everybody's talking about. And to get that kind of exposure, not just from the racetrack, from Smart Tour, the open wheel modifieds, but like I said, grassroots racing. Look at the town. I mean, you're in town and everybody.
Brought the whole town back to life.
They were thanking us at the restaurants and at the hotels.
And they stood up just about the whole race.
Yeah, they never sat down. It was unbelievable. And you don't find that everywhere, and it was really humbling to see that if you're some of the racetracks in America, they're getting ready to tear this thing apart and redo it. They would love to have what this is sitting on right now. Mm-hmm. It's some buildings that need improvement and stuff, but I mean, it's not as bad as you think it is. And there's been a lot of work to get us here.
I walked around the racetrack this morning, just making laps, exercising and chatting. And the racetrack itself is not in that bad a shape.
No, it's not.
It served the purpose. So what do you see the next 3 to 5 years at North Wilkesboro Speedway looking like?
I mean, this is just me being in the sport a long time. I don't think Marcus and them's all going to be about grassroots. I mean, I think that there'll be a progression of if like me and you've been around a long time. I think NASCAR will start at a lower level. ARCA, they'll start at a lower level at trucks and stuff. I mean, there's got to be safer walls. We had a car that throttle hung yesterday, and Gary Young hit a ton. And he's fine. He's going to be here today. He's coming. I just talked to him. But that was hard, and you don't see hard hits like that a lot anymore. And I was like, yeah, there's got to be some upgrades, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think there's certain things that'll happen, and I think there'll be a progression. And look, the reason I raised my hand is because I want to be a part of it. I want the Smart Tour down here in the South. Everybody knows the modifieds raced here before the Cup events for years. I mean, there's been more modified races at North Wilkesboro than any other sanction in any other division. And I want to be a part of it. And, this is the reason why, when we had some other obligations and stuff to do, and we decided that it didn't matter. We wasn't going to bend the rules and take care of it. Whatever. And I knew I had to be a part of it. And that's the reason why I was like, we've got to do it. We've got to be
we had Jeff Hammond on last week, who has a lot of history around this area, this racetrack with Junior Johnson. I mean, Cale Yarborough, Darrell Walter, all that. But, he said something very simple. He said, a lot of it's going to depend on how many people show up and sit in the stands to watch these races, whether it's an asphalt race, dirt race, whatever the case may be. And so that's what I really encourage race fans that are listening to this podcast. And that's one of the things that Bill Stanley, in the Senate of Virginia is pushing legislation, trying to bring attention and funding to short tracks and the importance of the communities they are in and all that. So I just encourage race fans that not only North Wilkesboro, but right now we're talking about this racetrack. When there are races being scheduled at this racetrack, try to do your best, if you're able, to come out and support the races like you've done this weekend. There's another race is coming up, next weekend, I guess Cars Tour or Late Model Stock Car. Or,
yep, Junior's going to be a part of it.
Yeah, Dale Jr.'s going to actually race in that, which we'll have Dale Jr. on later on this show.
Great
today.
interview. And let me tell you, and we'll just tease it a little bit. Hermie, of course, and he go way back, and you could tell the affection that both of you had for each other. Yeah. But how much, you could just feel the energy and the emotion coming out of him that he was finally standing here and he was going to watch these modifieds run last night. And everything came together perfectly.
Oh, absolutely.
And you could just see it, and it's a great interview.
I just encourage people that can and can afford to do so.
Yeah.
Ticket prices are very, very reasonable, next to nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come out and support North Wilkesboro Speedway over the next couple weeks and months and support it, because if you really want this racetrack to come back in a way that it has potential to do, I mean, the fans will have to support it.
And to be honest with you, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's really every grassroots racetrack across the country.
Same thing.
If you're going to support it, you got to support it.
But my point is, we heard all this about Rockingham. If you bring Rockingham back, we'll support it. If you bring this track back, we'll support it. And the first time around, people give away tickets and do things and had a decent crowd. Next time, not enough to make it worthwhile. So you have to put your money where your mouth is.
Well, going to what you were saying about the community supporting it, I stayed over in North Wilkesboro last night. I've never been here before, but I can tell you not a gas pump was open this morning. There was not a fast food restaurant that did not have a line wrapped around the building. Not hardly a vacant motel room. So, just kudos to North Wilkesboro for getting together and support this endeavor. And, I'm not a big race guy. I'm here to support Hermie and the senator. But last night, being there and like Hermie said, the people were on their feet virtually the entire race. To see the grandstands full, to hear the engine, the roar of the engines, it was really, really, it was exciting. And I see lots of good things happening here for the racetrack, as well as this community. No question about it.
This is a short track mecca. If you love short track racing and you've never been to North Wilkesboro, then you have to make the trip. You have to make the pilgrimage. And I think when they use the word revival, that really means something to me when you're coming back. Because it is a revival. It's like a religious experience for race fans. And seeing that community involvement, hearing that roar of the crowd, made everything, Chris, that you went through to be a part of this and to make it really happen that much more worthwhile. And I want to ask you, Chris, because I know the answer, but I want you to tell everybody. I mean, how did this start? You weren't running a Smart Series, and some drivers came to you and said, hey, NASCAR had run it into the ground. Somebody else wasn't doing very well with it. It was kind of disbanded. And they came to you and said, we want to start back up Southern Modifieds, and they wanted you to be their leader. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I hold a steering wheel. I tried to drive a little bit at Bowman Gray.
He's got his own T-shirt.
Yeah, I do have my own T-shirt.
Yeah.
I gave you one. What size are you?
So his T-shirts.
Dick. I've been asking you for one.
His T-shirt.
I'm trying to get my friends one.
His T-shirt. Look, this guy dumped me as an attorney for my wife.
I know.
I'll probably get one before you.
Smart move.
Chris's T-shirts are like mine. They're $10, and if he autographs them, they're $5.
Well, the truth is, I give them to my family so somebody will wear them.
Yeah.
The Modiarty or whatever. But I did hold a steering wheel, and I was over there, and a lot of people knew my past. I mean, they knew I worked in the NASCAR industry.
And not only that, for our listeners, if you go back to our library, I think it's like number 3 or number 4. It's titled Dale Earnhardt's King of Merch, and we do an in-depth interview about your history in NASCAR.
Oh yeah, and you're helping me write my book, right?
I am.
It's about time. So anyway, so they all got together, and Buzzy and a few other drivers is like, hey, we need some help. And Buzzy worked for DW, Darrell Waltrip, and a lot of people don't know that. But,
great guy.
Yeah, and there's a lot of connection in our modified garage to all the Cup teams and people that manufacture different things in our industry for not only NASCAR but the racing industry. But anyway, they said we need somebody that that they'll listen to, they'll trust, and that can just basically have an open ear to progress this thing forward. And I was semi-retired. trying to hold a steering wheel, and we went to Puddin's, and I listened to the conversation, and it was just basically they said we couldn't get tracks to do it because of some past stuff that was going on. People didn't trust what was going on. They didn't want to run the modifieds and so on. And I said, okay. And I just basically took it and I made a phone call to Nick and them at South Boston, because everybody's like, you're not going to get certain tracks. But I had a relationship at Pocono with Nick and Louis Mattioli and them, and had a really good relationship. And I mean, I may have said, Nick, I'm running a modified series. I want to run. He said, sure. I mean, it was like, wow. I was like, oh, okay. So we went through that conversation, and we've had some of the best modified races.
Then you
in
get a
South
track
Boston.
like that, then everybody else falls in line.
Well,
If South Boston will do it, we can do it.
100%. So then Motor Mile just had been leased by Rusty, and everybody knows I represented Rusty for 20 years. Great relationship, and I picked up the phone and I said, Rusty, I said, I'm running a modified series, and he said, what do you want? I said, I need a date at your track. Yeah, call Mark Ebert. We're ready. I mean, it was like 3 seconds, and so I'm like, I thought we couldn't do this. And Darren Hackett, who is at Caraway, he's all into modified, a lot of history. He was already in. Then Zacharias from Florence, whose family, got a lot of. What I'm saying is building the relationships, and so doing what you say you're going to do and do it. And all the teams want to do is.
But it's safe to say you could not have come in as an outsider of the sport.
No,
and gone and done this.
Could not happen. You had to have some type of foundation, and with me and Earnhardt and NASCAR, I mean, Bill France said it's going to be in the book. Bill France says, if it's $1 million there, he knows he's going to get $1 million from me. It's just because of the relationship and how much I've paid everybody over the years. And it's not about money. It's just about being credible. Yeah. And so that's all I've tried to do. I'm trying to give these owners and these drivers a platform to showcase what they do, because let's be honest, they're not doing it for the money. There's no way they're doing it for the money. You guys
not at this level for sure.
It's not happening. Yeah. And if you don't have the sponsors like Pace-O-Matic, and it's never going to happen.
Speaking of Pace-O-Matic, how great have they been the way this thing has come together? Not only supporting Senator Stanley and I and our race team and the platform that we use to promote advocating for small business and all that, but also the title sponsor of your series. They truly understand the importance of what Shep brought up a moment ago, how these types of races and events, the kind of impact they can have on local communities that are not going to get a big time NASCAR race. So if the economic impact here is, if a normal NASCAR weekend is 5 million, hell, if this is, 750 to $1 million to the, and you got to believe for the time that it's been up to this and testing a couple weeks ago and all the people coming in and people being here for 3 or 4 days. I don't know what the number is, but it's a big, it's millions of dollars worth of impact to this county.
Yeah,
because plus it was money they weren't getting.
It's better than a zero, which is what they were getting.
So I just want to, and I know we feel the same way about this. We appreciate Pace-O-Matic seeing the need for not only what Bill and I are doing, but for the series like what you're doing, because the people that operate Pace's games are in rural areas like this.
This is our people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the hunting industry and, other things that we do, fishing industry. I mean, it's our people. It's what we do. We're blue collar, loving outside outdoorsmen, gearhead racing. That's what we are, and
wave at your neighbor as you pass by. On the street,
absolutely. And Pace-O-Matic, we couldn't do it without Pace-O-Matic. I mean, we can say whatever we want to say. We could do it with lesser sponsors, but you're not going to increase the purse. You're not going to increase the car count. And let's be honest, the racetrack can't do the things that they do unless the fans are in the grandstand. And if you have 7 or 8 cars, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you don't incentivize the little things throughout the race for these guys to come and run and make a little bit, and also make the purse and the point standings and everything the way it is, I had a 4-year progression. And to be perfectly honest with you, when Pace come along, it helped me a quick year. But I've got 2 more to get where I need to go. And as you see, and anybody that follows racing, and it's not me, right? It's all of us. But the Smart has progressed 2,000% in a year and a half. It's been in existence. And I think it's going to jump even more because it's now becoming one of the, everybody's calling, hey, we would like to have you. You got 2,000 people coming. And then at a grassroots racetrack, that's a lot. Now, we had 8,000 last night. And we've had 5,000 at South Boston and a couple of them already.
Yeah, big crowd there.
Yeah, but as you progress, the one thing that's got to happen is we have to have not every sponsor to contribute, because traveling, as you know, and you just said it from the reverse side, even though we're giving them 3 nights stay at the hotel and food and whatever, your teams is bringing 6 or 7 people to work on a car, 3 days of hotel. They've got to miss work. I mean, normally Tuesday and Wednesday nights is not the right thing to run. But at the same time, you got to take that advantage and do whatever you got to do with it. And I think Smart is on a very elevated track to become a very credible series.
Well, let me tell you something, and it reminds me, because really that was a moment in time from our famous conversation. I was sponsoring a Smart Race Stanley Law Group over there at Motor Mile, convinced my boy Hermie to run, and then, having had a previous, interaction with Pace-O-Matic, invited them to come, and they came out, and they sponsored, I think they helped sponsor your car that race. And man, when it finished, they had to leave. They had to get back on their plane. It was a later night, but they were sold.
Planted the seed.
Yeah, they were sold. And so they came back to us and wanted to participate. But again, it demonstrates to me, they can go anywhere. They can put their money anywhere. They can put it on the back of a Truck Series or Xfinity or even NASCAR. They want to be where they are.
Grassroots.
And that says a lot about the company. I think Michael Pace, Carmen Pace, if you meet them, it's like you're
just like talking to us.
Yeah, like hanging out with one of your friends, your neighbors that you've known forever. And so fast forward.
And by the way, Paul Goldine texted me last night and said that you look like a lobster. You needed some sunscreen.
My face, I'm red on the head like a dick on a dog.
I'm not.
At least the first part.
I'm not getting into this.
At least the first part.
But we always are responsive to them. Hermie and I go on calls, sponsorship calls, and making sure that, we're all working and rowing in the same direction. But they have always sponsored, and again, Cheyenne Frontier Days, very famous,
oh my God, it was so
Chris rodeo, 13 days. Chris awesome. hauls the ride-along 22, Pace-O-Matic 22, that actually Carmen designed with the colors.
Yeah, she did great.
Out there. He goes out there for, a week?
Yeah.
He drove out there with the hauler. And then took about 100 people around and raced
at least. And I'm gonna tell you, Pace-O-Matic has built a structure like we're trying to build at the Smart Tour with credibility. They have a lot of veterans. I got to sit and watch a lot of their interaction with their customers, their manufacturing, and everything else. And you talk about just working for someone that really cares about the community, history. It's a great company, period. But going out there and see everybody else that what they're doing, not only for the Cowboys, but not only for small businesses, and bringing them out there and letting them do the Frontier Days. The event was unbelievable. Constantly interaction between not only Pace and Pace-O-Matic, but everybody else that's there. That they're such great people, and it's not just business owners. And it's a flux of everybody, and it was a really good week.
Now I heard Chris found a way, because it's the ride along car is a 2-seater. It's an exact replica of a modified we run here at North Wilkesboro, and the rumor has it that Chris would take you downtown, but that Chris found a road.
Oh wow!
A little away from town that kind of made a big loop and circle, and he could fire that thing up to about 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
little Dukes of Hazzard action.
Yeah, Chris? It is true. It is true, And I've only
that had to give everybody a thrill, don't you think?
Well, the first day we went down to the Capitol, and there was a couple of state troopers and sheriffs in town, and they just looked at you, right? They didn't say anything. And I had one of the lieutenant governor's aide or whatever was out there making sure everything was right for them if they got in the car. And they come over there and talk to them. And after that, I pretty much had to run in the town. It was fun.
Doing hot laps in Cheyenne.
I can't remember. Somebody I got sideways with one day. It was an older gentleman. I can't remember his name, but I figured he would get scared, and I was going through the gears. I was in third, and that thing cocked sideways, and I kind of looked over at him. He was just grinning. I was like, I wouldn't be grinning that much,
Got in the marbles.
Getting back to Pace, when people you do business with, if you have a choice, it comes down to a relationship.
100%.
And that's what Pace really does.
Look, it's all about relationships. You're not going to get it, and I don't say this negative, but you're not going to get in bed with somebody you don't like, right? You don't trust. Yeah. And when you see their business structure and everything else, it's like pulling.
Chad sometimes says he might.
Chad's very malleable.
Get in bed with somebody he doesn't like for a short period of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Chris, going back to something that Hermie was talking about earlier, we were talking about the numbers and the impact on the community. But one thing that I think that I don't want people to miss, the impact that we were talking about was just this week. But now, look at what the stage has been set for the future.
Yeah.
And now you've got races coming up the next couple of weeks. They're going to do the dirt series here. I mean, this thing has really just been reborn for the entire community. It's, I certainly hope your local government and your Chamber of Commerce and all those good people are supporting this thing, because this can really be.
The Commissioner of Revenue was up there last night. I took pictures with him, selfies with him, signed stuff for him and all that, and he just was blown away.
But again, it's not just this weekend.
Yeah.
It's launching the next 2 months of racing here for this community.
But not only just here, and I think we
For
hit on it,
everywhere.
and Hermie hit on it. This is a racetrack revival, a short track revival that's not just here at this temple. It's, I think, also in every short track that runs in the Smart Series. And we've got the back half of the Smart Series still to go. Chris has done an amazing thing in raising the profile of this series. And I think more than just a year jump here for you. It's where the Smart Series goes from here. That's really going to be a difference maker, not just for the Smart Series and the drivers, but also for those small communities that he has picked as tracks. I mean, we're running Orange County, North Carolina, Hickory.
Yeah.
We're running Motor Mile again.
Yeah. We got Tri-County for the first time.
Tri-County.
Dominion.
But
Carteret.
what this is
Dominion's going to be huge.
Is a good template, a good roadmap to show if the community and your elected officials and people get behind it, what can happen. We need to carry the same, Southside Speedway up in Virginia.
Look,
this is a good reminder of what can happen if people are on the same page.
Well, Leon O'Neill, he's trying to raise it, and he called me last year and he said, "Hey, if we get this thing back, would you come?" I said, "Absolutely." Didn't even waste a second.
Oh, you'd have
because one, I want to support history, right? I want to support, where our heroes raced. And there's a lot of heroes in Southside.
Wendell Scott. I mean, Jackie Robinson in NASCAR won a championship, a track championship there.
And so I'm all for it. So at the same time, I want to stop for just 1 second. And I try to understand the business aspect as well as the impact of everything. And when Barry leased the property here a couple months ago, and I was raising my hand, I was texting Marcus, I was texting everybody, I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it. I also knew that it had to be strong of a start. And I knew that my team and everybody was well adapted to handling tough situations, right? And I knew it was going to be 30-some cars because I knew a lot of people from up north that we whispered that we'll make the track for that, right? And so at the same time, the original plan was to run.
I just got to say, Senator Stanley communicating with Chad.
I know. It's
during
bad.
the show. It's just
bad.
like
it's bad.
It's like a grandfather and a grandchild. Or something. I'm not sure what
it's sign language has a new definition.
It's a language that only Chad and the caribou can understand.
Yeah. So I realized that Wilkesboro. I realized that everything needed to start off strong. And if you've ever been to a modified race, and
first
time, right? It blows you away.
It was awesome.
And I knew that I could help with a lot of things that, needed to be handled. And if I was the first one in the middle of the week, it would give a start for everything that's coming forward. And so I really raised my hand. Everybody don't want to be the first to do it, right? They, the traffic, the parking, how much space you got, the influx, the efflux, how it's going. I knew that if I could be the first one, that I would not only highlight Smart, but I would highlight Wilkesboro. And so if you noticed, I noticed there may be one or two hiccups last night, but ain't nobody in America noticed it because the racing was phenomenal. It went off without a hitch.
Crowd was great.
I was going
to ask you that. So we're going to let you go because we know you got another long day of work to go. As we're taping this is Wednesday.
Yes.
We got another race tonight at North Wilkesboro Speedway. So when you look at last night, Tuesday night, what changes, if anything, will you and the team here at the racetrack make for tonight's race?
Everything went extremely well last night. We're not going to let the fans on the racetrack tonight. It scared everybody, to be honest with you, with SMI to stay on time. We were 10 minutes late last night. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't see. So we're going to do something a little different. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, we're going to recreate the last shot of Wilkesboro with all the Cup drivers. We're going to do it with the modified drivers tonight on.
That'll be awesome.
That's hot.
Yeah. And so we're going to do that, and then we're going to do some different types of interviews with the drivers tonight. which I think will be unique and different, so the fans can hear a different perspective of somebody that's never drove here or whatever, with a question or two pre-race. From a racing standpoint, I think you're going to see a little bit harder racing because I think a lot of people waited too long to go last night.
Yep.
Because they wasn't really sure about the tires. And even though it's only just a little bit of rubber built up, it's better than it was when we tested 2 months ago.
It's 300% better than
it
looked like.
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
tested.
So I think the racing is going to be better tonight. I will say that we had a couple of cars overheating last night because they rode right up in the pack, like the 77 overheated and stuff. They didn't realize the rubber and stuff coming out, hitting the front with the modifieds, everything's open. You know what I'm saying? So I think you're going to see a little bit of different type of throttle control tonight. I think it'll be a little bit different, but I think it's going to be a little bit more aggressive tonight.
And, you know, Chris, you mentioned coming here and being first, setting the bar high, which, look, achieved 100%, A+ on that. But, and I know you're impartial, but to have Ryan Newman, to have Pacematic car, to have these two guys as the car owner, to me, it's a storybook, not necessarily ending, but a beginning of relaunching not only this track, but really propelling the whole series moving forward, because you're exactly right. Social media, and I'm a pretty big social media guy. I like to think I am. I really follow it.
Yeah.
I saw feeds of pages that I've never seen before, ever.
Absolutely.
Highlighting the track, the car, the sponsorship of Pacematic. I mean, again, what a storybook beginning of great things to come.
Yeah, I think the whole story of the success of the crowd coming, I think the whole story of, you know, the fans getting in touch with the social media side, if you looked at it, and I looked at it till 4 o'clock this morning because I pay attention to everything. Because, look, people don't know this, but if they run out of hot dogs, it affects our series.
Sure.
If they run out of a beer, it affects our series. You had no complaints of lines. You had no complaints of food running out. Everybody was talking about the flow of the race was going. I mean, look, I mean, Caraway was a mess for us a couple weeks ago because of a couple of different things, and we solved all those. But I have to look at that because if I don't look at it and change it to grow forward,
Devil's in the details.
And so with Newman, Priest, I'm thinking about the top 5. Hirschman, Labonte, you know, for the first part.
Lots of great teams.
Y'all have got to stop with these hand gestures.
Hey, Chris.
I need a towel.
Chris, lots of great teams. Any of them could have won. Any of them would have been a great.
That's what I'm saying.
Any of them would have been a great winner for this race.
Absolutely.
But this did put it really on the top pinnacle of pedestals that it could have been on.
And, you know, Ryan gave a really good talk to Fox. They went live with him up there on the elevator stand and there in Victory Lane. And we have it. And so if you guys will give a listen, we're going to play that right now. He thanks everybody who's here at the table, except for you, Shep. And he really, I mean, it's really a poignant statement. And he dedicated the race and his win to the Parsons family, which I thought was amazing. Yes. So we're going to listen to this right now.
But, this is really, I mean, my goal was to win, obviously, but this is really special. Looking at it now, present time, and I'll look at it tomorrow, and it'll be even more special. But to be in Wilkesboro, all the fans that came out tonight, which I was amazed to see. And like I said earlier, I dedicate this win to the Parsons family. You know, Terry Parsons is still an instrumental part. Benny Parsons wanted to see this day happen. For me to, long story short, I took the chair position at the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame after Benny passed. So it's special for me personally, and to come here and what means so much to him and his family to win on the first big race back. And you know, all our sponsors that make this happen: Pacematic, Montrose Molders, Aggressive Hydraulics, Coca-Cola, Senator Stanley and Hermie Sadler gave me this opportunity, and we couldn't do it without all our partners. But to be, I never thought I'd ride an elevator to Victory Lane in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, like the most probably non-technological facility and people and everything else. No disrespect, to ride an elevator up to Victory Lane is pretty special.
Doesn't matter what Victory Lane anywhere is special.
Well, it is, and you know, I wish my kids were here, I wish my family was here, but you know, in the end, it's a special night for me, and just honored to be a part of what's going on. When Dale Jr. comes up to you, and knowing what it means to him, what it means to his family, and his dad, obviously, that makes it that much more special, and it'll all set in sometime. It hasn't set in yet.
Isn't that incredible? And that was
Great. Great. He thanked all the right people. What a night for open wheel modified racing. What a night for North Wilkesboro. What a night for us, Senator.
Well, I told
with
Chris
our
last
car.
night, I said, Chris, you just made Christmas in August.
Hell, I'm staying
He could
tonight.
not-
And I'm not even a race guy. I'm going to stay tonight and watch the race.
He could not have written a better script, just like you said. He could not. And I've seen, look, I'm the lawyer also for the tour, and we go through a lot of things.
He's expensive, by the way.
We can talk about that later. But I'm going to tell you right now, we have had hours and hours of phone calls where Chris is going above and beyond the call of duty, not just for the Smart Series, but for every driver. But his dedication to make sure that open wheel modifieds and the smart drivers were on this track last night was unparalleled. And he fought through the difficulties. He fought through the naysayers. He fought through contractual, technical limitations. And then, and I turned to Hermie and I said, "This is either going to be the greatest thing ever. It's going to be a shit show." And Hermie had all the
50-50
confidence.
chance.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong. Hermie had all the confidence in the world, but man, I mean, the racing from lap 1 to lap 50 was fantastic. And
I
I'm
didn't
not
see
just
anybody
saying-
sitting down.
Yeah, they
I'm even
didn't.
standing on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Of course, you didn't see that.
look,
because-
we're biased because our driver won and our car won. But I'm telling you, I mean, if he'd finished 4th, Chris, I mean, I would have still looked at you and said, "That's some of the best damn racing I've seen."
It was really good. I mean, the only problem that we've had all week was, the sheriff contacted me about some people broke in riding around the track the other night.
Oh,
on
really?
a golf cart
Yeah.
Really?
doing some hot laps.
Yeah.
Hey,
do y'all
Hermie-
know anything about that?
Hermie, do you know anything about that? Somebody broke in and did a couple laps
Oh,
on
the
the
deer
golf
in the
course.
headlight.
Oh, see his face.
Allegedly, well,
Here we go.
what had happened was,
Was this an after 8 story?
It was well after 8.
can I help you?
And you know who that turned out to be?
Barry Braun.
Barry Braun. And now, well, this is what I heard.
We were just using our expertise to make a pass around the facility, around the racetrack at a wee hour of the night, just to make sure that everything was what we felt like you would be okay with.
One pass.
So we were doing it for you.
One pass.
We made about 25 laps.
We hit check every groove.
and
right?
we
We wore
passed
out
by a
the 2
scooter,
sets of
too.
tires on the golf cart. But look, and my wife loves when I say this to her. When I try to explain something that I did 30 years ago,
Yeah.
I say, it was the thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were borrowing from a story that Brett Griffin told us about when Hermie and he decided they were going to take a lap at Fontana.
Like 2
They got-
o'clock in the morning.
They got pulled over
We
by a
got
bunch
good.
of cops. He pulled over by cops, and luckily they had the owner of the track in the back seat, so that was a pass. And cops come,
Track president.
track president, and the cops come to the window, and Brett Griffin's there, and they say, "Can I have your name?" And he goes, "Larry
But he
Bird."
wanted his hard card.
Larry Bird. Oh, they'll pull your hard
They
card.
wanted his hard card.
Yeah, that's not good.
And Brett said, I don't have my hard card. He said, what's your name? He said, Larry Bird.
So, taking a page out of his playbook, I meant to say I was Kevin Parrish.
Oh,
Which I
Lord.
took-
You were trying to say
Kevin
Kevin McHale.
McHale.
But you were somewhat
Disoriented.
Disoriented.
Yeah.
Disoriented.
That's why y'all was going
Because
around.
Bill kept saying he was doing some hell of a play-by-play. We're coming off turn 4. And I'm like,
This is
Bill,
third.
this is turn 2.
At one
Wait a
point,
minute.
discombobulation.
I heard a rumor that he thought that there was 2 camping sections around the racetrack.
That's a rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, man, why didn't
There's only one.
Why
place
didn't
to
Chris
park.
Williams put us in this really neat camping area right trackside?
But that was your
in
camper,
turn
right?
1. It was my camper. I said, that guy's got a beautiful motor coach.
And you wonder why I didn't come till Tuesday.
Look,
You wanted me to come Monday night.
Chris, this has
We
been
had a good
great.
time.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Great week so far, and hope you have another good one tonight. Thanks for all you're doing. Thanks again to Pace-O-Matic. It's been a lot of fun, and so we look forward to the second half of the Smart Tour as well. And
Very proud of you, brother.
hope that the momentum
Very
that we're
proud of
building here will carry us through the second half of the Smart season. So good chat, good talk, and we'll take another short break. And guess what, Senator?
What?
We'll be back with an interview that we did yesterday with none other than Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Hermie Sadler returns as a pit reporter at North
Thought you
Wilkesboro
were going to say
Speedway.
pit lizard. It was in the past.
In the past.
In the past.
That was
We'll be
last
right
night.
back with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
If you could change one thing about your home, what would it be? A new kitchen, a new master bath, maybe put in a pool. What if you could do it with no money out of pocket and cheaper monthly payments? SaveWithConrad.com can help, and you can even skip your next 2 house payments. NMLS number 65084, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.
All right, well, it was a Tuesday night when we had a racetrack, and I'd be damned if Dale Earnhardt Jr. didn't show up. You just love racing, don't you?
Well, I had to come to the first one for sure. We've been working to try to get racing back at North Wilkesboro for a really long time, and we never thought that we'd ever see this day, so I wasn't going to miss it. And they've done a really good job getting the place looking good, and got a lot of fans showing up to sit in the grandstands. There's a great crowd of racers here in all the divisions. Everybody's walking around kind of enjoying it, and I think everybody's a little bewildered, that that's even happening. And it's kind of fun to walk around the garage and talking to people what they think about the track and everything. But so far, so good. Hopefully it's a good show tonight, and tomorrow night is a good day, and another race. They'll re-rack them, do it all over again, and they'll keep on going the rest of the month.
You're very involved with iRacing. One of the first things everybody started seeing was when you guys came over here, really with weed eaters and lawnmowers and everything. It really was that bad when you started, but was that really what triggered this whole process to get us back to this day?
Well, I think that got the ball rolling a little bit. We came out here, I was very selfish and just wanted to get the track scanned for iRacing because I'm a big fan of the simulator, and I thought that people would appreciate getting the track on the service. That ended up creating a lot of interest. Man, is it coming back? Could it come back? What we found was that the surface of the racetrack is actually in really, really good shape. There ain't no major flaws. They've had to do nothing to really fix any issues with the track breaking apart or broke apart. But anyhow, it kind of started a conversation, I think, locally, and then it got a lot of support, and people started getting in Marcus's ear about it, local government and all that, and then the state. And so I think that encouraged Marcus to look at what this place could be. And so Marcus and I would talk, and he came on the podcast one day, and every once in a while I'd see him and he'd go, "Hey, by the way, North Wilkesboro ain't over. We don't know what we're going to do, but it's there's something there. We just got to figure out what it is." And so Marcus started thinking bigger than just racing. Like, this place could be great for festivals, music festivals. There's a lot of different things that this property could serve the community for, and racing could be a component, right? And that's what I think gives it real potential. And that's why the state wants to get behind supporting it, is because it can be more. The racing's one small part of it. This track and this property could really do a lot more, and bring a lot of money into this part of the state. So I think it's really helped revitalize the conversation of what could be. And we still don't want to. I don't think Marcus knows what it is, what the final answer is. So what's going to happen is they'll have these races this month here in August on the asphalt. Marcus and the promoters and everybody is paying attention to one thing, and that's how many people sitting there watching in the grandstands. They ain't paying attention to how many race cars are here. They're not paying attention to what the races look like. It's how many people are sitting in them stands, and not just tonight, tomorrow night, and every weekend after that, all the way to the end of August. They obviously think that the dirt races will draw really well. I mean, that's going to be a spectacle, something to see. Definitely not going to have any problem selling tickets to those races. So all of those things will really determine what Marcus wants to do with the track. I think long term he knows that this property can be multi-use, but what happens to the track really is going to be determined by these 2 months. I could see this place staying dirt, not ever getting paved again. I mean, if those races go well and they make some money and got some big crowds, and that might be its future for the first, the next several years. It ain't nothing's forever, but they might just leave it dirt and do that a couple years.
I told you I came here in 1991 for a late model race. Saw your dad racing here back in the day. I know you've got a memory or two of coming to this racetrack as a kid. One that stand out to you?
Well, I remember Daddy winning in the Monte Carlo, the Goodwrench car, the first race on radials. That was the first race ever on a radial tire. And Dad won, and I went up on top of the victory lane there on the roof of the building, and I'm in the victory lane picture, and I got a Jimmy Means hat on because I was a big fan of Jimmy Means. And me and Brad,
still are, right?
Yeah. Me and Brad, his son, watched the races together. We'd run around in the garage and get up on top of buses and hollers and just wherever we wanted to go. And so I remember watching the whole weekend with Brad, and then Dad wins the race, so we run to victory lane and go through that whole thing. So I got some images from that. I came here and raced in the late model, and in '93 I came and made the race, and I really didn't know what I'd done till I tried to come back and make it again and missed it. And I went to Martinsville trying to make them races and never made them on time.
Hard to explain how tough it is with those cars. They're so close.
I never made it on time. The first time I come here, I made it, and I didn't even know what I had done. And we was driving that Sundrop car. We got tangled up on the back straightaway. Some guys wrecked, and we got into it, and I had to run the race, tore up and bent up. But it was wild, man. I was sitting on pit wall before our race started that morning, and Dad was driving Jeff Gordon around the racetrack because I think Jeff was a rookie that year, and he's showing Jeff around the track in a pace car. Well, they pulled over by coincidence and stopped at the entrance to pit road. Get out of the car, Daddy sees me and comes walking toward me, and he said, "I want to introduce you to Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon's going to be somebody, and you need to, yeah." He's like, "Jeff Gordon's going to be somebody. He's going to be a champion. I want you to meet him." And he said that, and I was like, "Okay." And so, how's your car? Blah, 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 5 minutes. And then they moved on down to the Cup garage. But there's little moments like that, right? We came here one time to make the 1994 race. And it was me, Kelly, and Kerry. And we was all parked together. And I had a purple jug full of fuel. And it was cheater fuel. And we had all our stuff kind of together. We're working together, bar jack, use a jack stand, whatever, don't matter.
Everything but the fuel.
Somebody grabbed that purple jug, wasn't on my team, and we were like, whoa, 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 you let go of that one. And we had a full-blown fight. Why? What's in this jug? Why can't we use it? All the gas is the same, right? I'm like, no, you can't use the purple jug. We literally had a fight, and but our guys were very, confrontational about that. And so we laugh about the purple jug all the time. And
use the purple jug up this part of the country, you think about something else.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, I know you're busy. One other thing before you go. You're not only putting your time on the track, but your fans can see you race here in a couple of weeks. I saw the announcement of the old Sundrop car. Do you really love coming back and doing that kind of stuff again?
So I'm going to be honest, because you probably can relate to this. I have been wanting to drive my late model cars for years, but I've been worried about getting my butt kicked because that's what's going to happen.
That's the thing, yeah.
I'm going to come here, and they are going to whoop me, and I got to be okay with that. And I've had a hard time.
I saw a little bit of that at Martinsville with the Xfinity car earlier this year.
Yeah. So I've been running the Xfinity car last 2 years. I've got my butt kicked, and I'm like, dang, all right. So, you can't be great. I mean, you can't be good forever, right? And I can't show up and think, man, top 5 every time I run an Xfinity car. It just ain't realistic. So
those young boys are fast, ain't they?
They're so good. They do it every week. They live that life every day. And you ain't going to show up one day and just think racing one day and just show up and do well. And so I got to come to terms with just being beat, right? And that's
like a field filler.
Yeah, that's tough to do. So I couldn't turn this down.
Are you bringing the purple jug back when you come in 2 weeks?
Man, I hope we got something. I don't know if it's in a jug or what. We're going to need a little bit extra. We're going to, all this came together, and I said, I can't not do this. So I'm coming. I might not run well. Whatever happens in that deal. I just want to finish. I want to cross the finish line, drag my beer cooler out on pit road, and see who wants to have one. And hopefully there's several drivers that want to get up and have a beer. But we're going to try to shine a light on everybody that's racing. We're going to have a podcast recording here. We're going to do some Q&A sessions with fans out in the tent. I'm bringing a bunch of the drivers that we're competing with out there to showcase them, highlight them, talk about them, where they're from. So I'm trying to really kind of take this opportunity and not make it about me, right? And but I want to have a good time. I want to race, and we'll see how we do. And hopefully I go out there, and I don't mind getting my tail kicked. And then
you won't until the green flag falls, then you will.
Well, I want to. Hopefully, at the end of that race, I got a car in one piece, and I'm thinking, man, I want to do more of this. I'm gonna go to the next. Where can we go? Where else can we go? There's several races, that we could go run with this car, and I should have been. I'm gonna probably be kicking myself for not doing this sooner. Not racing our little late model car more often, because it's really It's really what I miss the most. When I think about my career and my life and racing and everything I ever did, I miss racing that late model at Myrtle Beach and Florence and all around. And I've been hesitant to do it.
For that reason.
Because I feel like I might not like losing, right? It's hard to make it make sense, but.
Well, look, first of all, I miss seeing you, man. The Sadlers love you. You've been great, and I appreciate what you're doing, because you're making a difference for the short track racer, the grassroots racer, and helping everybody to realize their dreams. So it's great to see you, brother, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. I miss seeing you too. Tell Elliot I said, hey, I think about y'all all the time. We made a connection a long time ago, and y'all were golden, good people. And I follow what you're doing, and I want nothing but the best for you. And if I ever need anything, I know who I could call.
You call on me anytime. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
How about that, Senator?
I told you it was good. I knew it was good.
You told me yesterday when you gave me that little gizmo to go inside, you said, go get something good.
You did.
And
you did. And Chad was laughing because I was off doing something else in my motor coach or somewhere. And he said, you just missed it. And I said, what? Hermie came running back up with the instrument like he was holding like a Fabergé egg, a little golden fragile egg. Chad, get this off. I got Dale Earnhardt Jr. record on this.
Chad said, oh, you can just push the button again and record somebody else, no problem.
Nope.
I'm like, I trust you somewhat, but let's download this. But look, I appreciate Dale Jr. What he's doing, not only being here, he's putting his money where his mouth is. Yeah. He really started the ball rolling to get what we've got this weekend by wanting this track to be scanned for iRacing. That started the cleanup process and the kind of the dream. He's been in the ear of Marcus Smith with SMI to kind of get him on board, bring him along. And then, so the whole thing just kind of, this whole show with what we've talked about, Dale, Chris Williams, everybody is really what's brought us here, this weekend. So I can't thank Dale Jr. enough for taking a few minutes to chat. I really
history making with the history maker.
Yeah, I really have missed seeing him. I mean, he's known for a lot of things, but quietly, privately, he's a solid guy. Very humble.
And everybody listen to the Dale Jr. download. It is the best 2 hours you'll ever spend. He always talks to historical figures in NASCAR. Yeah. It's always up to date. It's always fresh. It's always funny. He's got such an honest, open take on his own family history. That's refreshing. It's not something that you see. And he protects his brand really.
And I may or may not be a guest on that podcast coming up.
That'd be hot. That'd be great.
He's racing here next weekend.
Yep.
And I figured out.
Come on out and see Dale Jr.
Yeah, that's right. Come to North Wilkesboro and see Dale Jr. run. But I figured out what is going to make my camping experience, my boondocking experience better in my motor coach with my family.
You figured it out?
A
2 words.
Tank.
2 words. Purple jug.
Purple jug.
Purple jug.
A lot of secret magic in the purple jug.
A lot of magic. Don't touch my purple jug. I got the secret. I got the secret sauce.
Want to thank Senator, as we always do, thank Pace-O-Matic.
Absolutely.
For their support and this platform, for us to be able to do this show, for us to have a race team that we talked about last week, won the first race back at North Wilkesboro Speedway since 1996. What a great show. It's always fun. Senator Shep, thank you again for being here with us. Chad, thank you for taking all the punishment that you take and doing all the work that you do to make it happen. It really is.
Brad.
On the racetrack and in the podcast, it's a total team effort, and we're on our way.
Got another race tonight. This is going to come out after that race, so hopefully you've already seen we've had a good place. Looks like he qualified 12th.
Yeah, it's all right.
Out of a field of 30, that's fine. I think you want to be mid-pack in one of those kind of races.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. Thanks to Pace-O-Matic.
Go get him, Jonathan.
Thanks to Vista Installations, everybody that listens. We appreciate the support, and we'll be back next week with another episode, Leaning Right and Turning Left with Sadler and the Senator, powered by Pace-O-Matic. We'll see you next week.
God bless you all.
Get the house you want with the payment you want at buywithconrad.com. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this at buywithconrad.com. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. The first step to buying a house is buywithconrad.com.